Hello students. So in this module we are going to read the second part of the chapter The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan. In the previous module I told you about the two Armenian boys, Aram and Murad. Now children, Armenia is a very beautiful country. It is situated at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, and it is also close to Middle East. So, during the description of the chapter, you are seeing the beautiful images of, that the beautiful landscape of the country, whether it is vineyard or the other beautiful places in the background of the slides. So now before moving to the explanation part, let's have a self-assessment, a quick assessment of our previous understanding of the chapter. Here are some questions given. For example, the first question says, who is narrating the story? The options are Aram, Murad, John Byro, or Uncle Khosrow. Question 2 says, William Saroyan uses this literary technique in the exposition of the story. So which technique is that? Your first option is author's purpose, second flashback, third repetition, or fourth foreshadowing. Now the third question says, what character trait is important to the Garaglanian family? Your options are integrity, animosity, fortitude, or honesty. Next question says, how does Uncle Khosrow deal with all situations? Your options are by screaming and arguing, by saying pay no attention to it, by telling long stories in his native language, or by inviting guests in for strong coffee. Next question, children. When Aram attempts to ride the horse, what happens? Your options are Aram becomes frightened and jumps off the horse's back. The horse bucks Aram off and runs away. The two ride gently through the fields in the beautiful morning light. Or Murad spooks the horse so it runs away. Next question is, in the story, Aram is considered to be reasonable while Murad is considered to have a crazy streak. Whether it is true or false, that is you have to choose. Question number 7 of the last question, Murad is known to have or be kind to little children, away with animals, or a violent temper. Now children, after marking the answers of these questions, you must have understood how exactly was clear that we discussed in the previous module. Let's move to the explanation part. Here you can see the image of a vineyard, children, an Armenian vineyard. Let's read the paragraph. I continued down the road and my cousin Murad went across the field toward the irrigation ditch. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. All right, he said, jump on. The world is awake now. What will we do? I said. Well, he said, we'll either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. He did not sound worried. I knew. He would hide him and not take him back, not for a while at any rate. Where will we hide him? I said. I know a place, he said. How long ago did you steal this horse? I said. It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time and had come for me this morning only, because he knew how much I longed to ride. Now the meaning of the difficult word dawned, appeared. Let's check the explanation, children. So now here Aram tells us, before this we read in the previous module, that how when it was the turn of Aram to ride the horse alone, as he insisted the same to Murad, when Aram tried to ride it, the horse did not follow his instructions, rather threw him down and ran away. So now what happened, that Murad, he went running to him and he asked him to go in one direction to find the horse, and he himself went to a different direction. And then Aram tells us that how he continued down the road and his cousin Murad also went across the field toward the irrigation ditch. And Aram tells us further that it took Murad almost half an hour to find the horse and bring it back. All right. And then Murad, he addresses Aram, asking him to jump on, to sit on the horse, because it was daytime, it was morning, and the whole world was awake now. And before people get to know about the horse, okay, and the owner of the horse starts looking for the horse, before that they were supposed to hide it. Now here, when Aram, he finds that his brother Murad was not worried about hiding the horse, then suddenly he realized that perhaps Murad had been riding this horse for quite some time. Okay, and finally, when he was good at riding, then only he went to Aram to invite him for riding the horse, because Murad knew how much his brother Aram loved riding. This is another image of irrigation ditches and country vineyard of Armenia. Now see the next paragraph. Murad says, "Who said anything about stealing a horse?" He said, "Anyhow." I said, "How long ago did you begin riding every morning?" "Not until this morning," he said. "Are you telling the truth?" I said, "Of course not." He said, "But if we are found out, that's what you are to say. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning." "All right," I said. He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fitvasian. There was some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. We began walking home. "It wasn't easy," he said, "to get the horse to behave so nicely. At first it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with the horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me." Now let's check explanation, children. Murad shuts his brother Aram down by asking him counter question about who talks about stealing a horse. Aram tried to change the question by asking him since how long Murad was riding that horse. Murad told him that very morning was the first time. Aram was not convinced with it though, but Murad told him that if they are caught, if they are found out riding that horse, that this is what Aram must tell everybody, because Murad did not want both of them to be liars. Aram agreed, and Murad walked the horse quietly towards the barn of a deserted vineyard. Now, this was the hiding place that Murad had chosen for hiding this horse. It belonged to, and Aram tells us that how this place belonged to a farmer named Fitvasian, and now this barn or this land is deserted. And they both after that started walking home. Murad told Aram that it was not easy to get the horse to behave nicely, as in the beginning the horse wanted to run wild. But Murad also tells him that, like he earlier told him, that he had a way with horses. So he was able to handle this horse also, and this horse finally understood him. Now this is another beautiful image of a beautiful, beautiful landscape of uh, Armenia. Now read the next paragraph. "How do you do it?" I said. "I have an understanding with the horse." He said, "Yes, but what sort of an understanding?" I said, "A simple and honest one." He said, "Well," I said, "I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse." "You're still a small boy," he said. "When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it." I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Kosov came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor, sipping and smoking, and remembering the old country. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byron, an Assyrian, who out of loneliness had learned to speak Armenian. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked, and then, at last, sighing sadly, he said, "My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it." My uncle Kosov became very irritated and shouted, "It is no harm. What is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? What is this crying over a horse?" Explanation part, children. Adam amusingly asked his brother Murad how he controlled the horse, to which Murad said he has an understanding with the horses. Aram asked him what sort of understanding did he have with that horse, to which Murad told him a simple and honest one. Aram confessed he would also like to know how to have an understanding with a horse. Murad assured him that he would also learn it when he would be 13 years old. Aram went home and he was so happy that day because his far-fetched dream was coming true. He was able to ride a horse. So he ate a hearty breakfast that day. And then he tells us that how his uncle Khosrow visited his house for coffee and cigarettes. The uncle was sitting in the waiting parlor and he was remembering the old country. He was reminiscing that place from where they have migrated. We already got to, I already told you children about this part, that how William Saroyan, as he himself was an immigrant, so how he in his stories he always highlighted the pain or the agony of migrated people or immigrants who had to leave their country for some or the other reason. Now when a person, so what Aram tells us that then while uncle was sitting in the parlor sipping coffee and smoking, there was another person whose name was John Byro. He was an Assyrian farmer. Though he was an Assyrian, but he was lonely, so he had learned Armenian also. Okay, he also came to the parlor. The mother of Aram, she bought Byro some coffee and tobacco. While Byro was sipping and smoking, he told them, rather he shared with them, that his white horse, it was missing, it was still missing for past 1 month, and he was not able to find it. Khosrow, Uncle Khosrow, who was so impatient and irritable and never listened to people, he rode again that it was no harm. And then he also compared his situation and belittled the situation of John Byro by saying that you are talking about a lost horse and we have here lost our homeland. The next paragraph it says, now John Byro, he answers Khosrow and he says that may be all right for you, a sweet city dweller, to say, John Byro said. But what of my Surrey? What good is a Surrey without a horse? Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khosrow roared. I walked 10 miles to get there, John Byro said. You have legs, my uncle Khosrow shouted. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Pay no attention to it, my uncle Khosrow roared. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. I spit on money, my uncle Khosrow said. He got up and walked out of the house, slamming the screen door. My mother explained. He has a gentle heart, she said, but it's simply that he's homesick and such a large man. The farmer went away, and I ran over to my cousin Murad's house. He was sitting under a peach tree trying to repair the hurt wing of a young robin which could not fly. He was talking to the bird. What is it? He said. The farmer John Byro, I said. He visited our house. He wants his horse. You have had it a month? I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride. Now the meanings of the difficult words are given there, children. Let's check explanation. Now John Byro, he replied to Khosrow that he would not bother as he lives in a city, but his country was of no good without his horse. Because John Byro was a farmer and he had to walk a lot. Okay, so he says that it was difficult for him to manage without a horse. Khosrow shouted that he must not pay any attention to it. Then John Byro, he kept telling his problems, expecting some words of consolation from Uncle Khosrow. But Uncle Khosrow, he denied everything. Okay, he did not accept his problems. He was not ready to accept it. Okay, and then finally Uncle Khosrow, he got up and he went outside the parlor and he slammed that screen door. John Byro was obviously, shocked at this reaction of Uncle Khosrow. So Aram's mother, she came and she told John that, Uncle Khosrow was a gentle person, a person of gentle heart. But it was just because he was an immigrant, he had to leave his country and he was missing his country, he was homesick. Okay, and that is why he has become irritable. So Adam, when he got to know that this horse was missing for past 1 month, he went to Murad and he found his brother Murad sitting under a peach tree, and he was talking to a robin bird and nursing the wound of that bird because the wing of that bird was hurt. Adam told him about John Barrow and how he visited their house and he wanted his horse. Adam also requested, or he actually wanted Murad to promise him that he would not return the horse until Adam learns to ride it. The next paragraph says, children, it will take you a year to learn to ride, my cousin Murad said. We could keep the horse a year, I said. My cousin Murad leaped to his feet. What? He wrote. Are you inviting a member of the Garoglanian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner. When? I said. In 6 months at the latest, he said. He threw the bird into the air. The bird tried hard, almost fell twice, but at last flew away, high and straight. Early, every morning for 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard, where we were hiding it, and rode it. And every morning the horse, when it was my turn to ride alone, leaped over grapevines and small trees and threw me and ran away. Nevertheless, I hoped in time to learn to ride the way my cousin Murad rode. One morning, on the way to Fedvazian's deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer, John Barrow, who was on his way to town. Let me do the talking, my cousin Murad said. I have a way with farmers. So you can see here, children, that Murad, when Adam asked him to promise not to return the horse until he learns it, Murad was shocked and he told him, he was rather overdramatic, and he told him, that he doesn't feel that Adam would even be able to learn it for a year. Okay, it will take almost a year for him to learn riding a horse. Okay, and then finally they agreed to this point that they would return that horse in 6 months. Okay, and then Adam tells us that how for 2 weeks Adam and Murad, they both enjoyed this early morning ride, and then one morning they came across this farmer John Barrow when they were going to hide that horse in the barn. And Murad, as he was elder, so he asked Adam to let him talk to the farmer, and he also tells him that how he had a way with the farmers also. The next paragraph says, Good morning, John Barrow, my cousin Murad said to the farmer. The farmer studied the horse eagerly. Good morning, son of my friends, he said. What is the name of your horse? My heart, my cousin Murad said in Armenian. A lovely name, John Barrow said, for a lovely horse. I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from me many weeks ago. May I look into his mouth? Of course, Murad said. The farmer looked into the mouth of the horse. Tooth for tooth, he said. I would swear it is my horse. If I did not know your parents, the fame of your family for honesty is well known to me. Yet, the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. Good day, my young friends. So we see here that how these people, how these children, when they come across with that horse, when they come across with, John Barrow, they ran into him one day, all of a sudden. And John Barrow, he was looking, he was eagerly or carefully, he was studying that horse because he knew that it was his horse. Okay, Murad greeted the farmer and the farmer replied back, and then farmer John Barrow, he asked Murad about the name of the horse, and Murad tells him that the name of the horse was My Heart. And then after a short discussion, after a short talking, John Barrow tells Murad that how that horse was, after a careful observation, he finds that the horse was similar to his horse. And he also somewhere, whispers this warning that just because he knows the reputation of the family of Murad and Adam, that how famous they were in their community for their honesty. Okay, that is why he was not suspicious of them. Otherwise, that horse looked exactly same to his horse. And he also tells them that a suspicious man should believe his believe his eyes instead of his heart. But what happened here, that because he was the friend of Murad and Aram's family, so he trusted his heart instead of trusting his eyes. Let's move to the next paragraph. Now finally, Murad, he bids farewell to John Byro and he says, "Good day, John Byro," my cousin Murad said. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Byro's vineyard and put it in the barn. The dogs followed us around without making a sound. The dogs, I whispered to my cousin Murad. I thought they would bark. They would at somebody else, he said. I have a way with dogs. My cousin Murad put his arms around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then we went away. That afternoon, John Byro came to our house in his surrey and showed my mother the horse that had been stolen and returned. I do not know what to think, he said. The horse is stronger than ever, better tempered too. I thank God. My uncle Khosrow, who was in the parlor, became irritated and shouted, Quiet, man, quiet. Your horse has been returned. Pay no attention to it. Now here, so finally what happened, these boys, they realized their mistake, okay, and they also realized that John Byro had understood that it was his horse that they were riding and it was stolen by them. So it's not that the boys were afraid, they were rather conscience stricken, because John Byro, he did not want to bring down the reputation of the family of Murad and Aram. So somewhere, you know, so that is why he perhaps did not raise any questions against them. So keeping everything in mind, the reputation of their family, and also keeping the John Byro in mind, these children decided to return the horse. And the next morning, very early morning, they went to the barn of John Byro, and they tied that horse there. And finally, before leaving that horse, uh, Murad, he caressed that horse, he patted it, he hugged it, okay, and that shows that how much he loved that horse or how much he cared for that horse. And after that, both the children, they went away. That very afternoon, John Byro again came with his, cart, which was driven by the same horse, okay, and he came with that cart to the parlor of Aram and he showed it to the mother of Aram, and he also praised that his whosoever had kept that horse had taken care of the horse well, because the horse was good in temper, good in behavior, and also good in health. And then he says that he thanks God for that. Uncle Khosrow, who was sitting in the parlor, he gets irritated and he again shouts at John Byro and asks him to be quiet and not to pay attention as his horse was back now. So children, let's check the theme of this chapter. Here are certain points, keeping in mind these points, you can read the story and you'll find these hidden, hidden issues raised in the chapter. The loneliness and poverty faced by expatriate or immigrants living miles away from their homeland. The second point is the conflict between feelings and reason. Feelings, what we feel, and reason, what we know. The lure of a desire in the face of poverty and binds or restrictions of tradition. Traditions and free spirits, the conflict and triumph of one. And finally, the importance of character and reputation. So on the basis of these points, you can read the chapter. These are the hidden, or these are the points which are being issues which are being raised. Now children, here are the questions for practice. You have to write these answers in your notebook, and the notes and assignments will also be uploaded on ERP also, so you can take it from there and note it down. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Stay safe and stay indoors.